Hi, I'm Elliot Stewart. You're listening to Future Radio, and this is Common Lover's Guide. Actually, I'm very excited. Smegtastic, in fact. I'm chatting to the one and only Doug Naylor. How are you enjoying Norcon?
I'm enjoying it very much. Thank you.
That's right. Now, most of the Red Dwarf posse, or boys from the Dwarf, have come here. Is this your first time you've come to Norwich?
Yes, it is the first time. Yeah.
And you're not deeply regretting it yet?
No, it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Now, do you think you might be inspired of the Norfolk things to what Norfolk provides, normal for Norfolk, for a Red Dwarf episode? Do you think, what inspires you for your new Red Dwarfness?
I don't automatically think of Norfolk when I'm thinking of Red Dwarf ideas. It's all sorts of things. New science. It's hard to put your finger on any one individual point where ideas come from. I'm not sure I know, if I'm honest. They just come.
Well, that's like most sort of good writers. They sort of have a light bulb moment, and suddenly you're thinking, I don't know, like Blade Runner or Terminator. I was speaking to Gordon Kennedy, who was in that.
Yes.
Scared the hell out of me. I like it when Red Dwarf is scary. Do you think you can bring the scares back into Red Dwarf?
You're talking about the show Hudson, where Gordon was in that. Yeah, absolutely. We've done several episodes which are scary. I mean, primarily people want us for the comedy rather than the scares, because scares take a particular atmosphere. You have to build up to that, and it will take time out of the show. I think pathos is a good thing, and the comedy is a good thing. Scares are generally kind of mock scares, I think. Polymorph wasn't scary, I don't think Hudson was particularly.
It scared the hell out of me when I was a teenager.
Maybe if you were smaller.
And the recent Rimmer Monster as well.
Yes.
So when it comes to Red Dwarf, like, you've been writing it down for, quite a long time. And would it be one of these things where you're thinking one day there will be a final episode, or would you like to just go into infinity, or would you ever have an idea of how you'd like to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this many times. I will never write a final episode. That's not something I want to do. I don't want to do the type episode where everyone goes off the beach in Fiji on a white horse with the horse and the cows and all that. And also, if I were directing it, I would never be able to get through the show without collapsing in tears. So I don't want to be anywhere near the very last show. Having said that, whenever we do something, you're always aware this could be the last show. So when we did the last show of 11, you're thinking, is this going to be the last show ever? 12, same, and Promised Land was the same. So you always try and leave people with as good a show as you possibly can, but without ever purposely writing the final show where you go, that's it, we ain't coming back.
Now, when it comes to, I can't ask you what your favourite character is, but I think most writers pour themselves slightly into a character. So would you say you are more Rimmer than you are Lister, or maybe you're Cattle Triton?
I shift, really. It depends who I'm writing for. I mean, I love writing them all, and sometimes it's the most flawed characters which are the most fun to write. So having said that, if you were shipwrecked on a desert island, you wouldn't necessarily want to be with Rimmer. But truly, I don't have a preference in terms of the characters they're my favourite. I just love them all.
And I like the fact that I think sometimes ideas come about by accident. Wasn't it that they were wearing Crichton masks and you went, we should do that Crichton episode?
Well, actually, it was very much the boys saying, it was true, Danny and Craig came in two old Crichton masks, and Danny started doing this West Indian accent, pretending, Danny was his colour skin mechanoid, and Craig was his colour skin mechanoid. They made themselves up, although they just slipped them over their heads, and they just said, we've got to do a show where we're all Crichtons, and that had been going on for a while. And it's one thing to say we've got to do, because it sounds like it's going to write itself, but of course it's much more difficult than that, because you have to work out why are the old Crichtons, how do they get back to normal, all that stuff. And then when we actually did the show, all of them felt really ill putting the Brighton Masks on. Chris Barry was terribly ill. And they realised just quite how special Robert is enduring that for all these years.
So, I mean, when it comes down to sort of Red Dwarf and it being like a legacy of humour, I always feel that it might have been difficult to pitch it at the time because there'd been Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But I love the fact that, there's a bit of Dark Star in there as well.
For sure.
And having the last person on Earth being a bit of a slob, Futurama sort of will have a bit of that, but they don't do it quite as well. I'm so looking forward to whatever you're up to next with them. Right. Obviously, I'm not going to ask for any clues.
Yeah.
But I might, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
But would you say, is there anything in Red Dwarf that you think, I'd like to go back and do that again, not better, not funnier, but like, something, we should bring Ace Rimmer back, or maybe we shouldn't?
Yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful that you don't bring something back and it's not as good as it was originally. So there's that, and then physically, say for example, with Ace Rimmer, can Chris Barry play that character now? So there's all those factors that you've got to work out. And equally, there's the pull of the new, and we haven't done this before, which is always very attractive. So it's difficult to know exactly, it depends on the idea, to be honest.
Well, thank you for bringing so much joy into my teenage life and also bringing joy to my son when I used to do Red Dwarf bedtime stories for him. Thank you very much.
All right,
cheers.
Take care, all the best.